and friends to another impactful episode. We're about to go through and highlight a melanated married couple or just go through some lessons that we got. Make sure y'all tap in with the conversation. Queen, where can they go to tap in?
TheeM4Show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Queen, where can they follow us on Instagram?
TheeM4Show.
Now, if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, it would make the Queen very, very happy. If you can go ahead. Very? What should they do?
You should go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
It's free and your first step to becoming a millionaire. Go ahead and click that button. And let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
Shout out to Nadia, who just bought a Black Wall Street board game. I see you, Nadia. We appreciate you. Hey, the Shopify little cha-ching be hitting. I usually have my phone on vibrate, but when it's on cha-ching, it makes you feel a little bit good. Like, oh, is that money? Is that money for me? Okay.
They coming in.
Yeah. But welcome back, y'all, to the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making show, aka the M4 show. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. Of course, I have with me my beautiful, my Paso Robles returning, is that mascara you got on? Yeah, mascara from yesterday. I wasn't gonna put you on blast. Queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What is up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
Feeling good.
Glad to hear it. Why are you feeling good?
Because as the king mentioned, I did just get back from Paso Robles, where we went wine tasting with some sorority sisters, and it was a good weekend. There was like a lot of anticipation around the trip and some of the details, and it was getting kind of stressful at the end.
Anticipation is the word we're going to use.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and that was like everybody was feeling that. So I feel like once we got there and everything went smooth and it was cool, it was like, oh, okay, this was a good trip.
Good. I'm glad. So I want to kind of talk a little bit more about your trip later on. And I also want to talk about just the general vibe of making friends while married. Now, I don't have an exact roadmap for this conversation, to be honest with you. There is somewhat of an outline, but it's a very loose outline. Okay. So you let me know what direction you want to go. But in general, I want to talk about making friends while married. And if y'all got questions watching live or on the replay, drop them in the comments, drop them in the chat. What are the struggles? What are the benefits, pros and cons of being married, but still trying to grow your network? But before we get into that, can you please hit the folks with some knowledge, with some nuggets, with the did you know?
So right on theme, my did you know this week is, did you know that forming and maintaining healthy relationships is an active part of leading a healthy lifestyle? So when you're interacting with someone, right, you get we had our reunion, right? I'll save the details for the rest for later. But you hug, right? You get that physical connection, but also you get laughter, but also your brain waves actually start to sync up a little bit. And you can start to conversate, catch up, right? There's a lot of things that happen, not only like emotionally, but physically in your body when you're around people that you love and experiencing that camaraderie. And not only that, but we are actually built to convene, convene with other people. We are social beings. We have evolved to live in tribes, in villages, and that's still the case today with our families, our friends, right, our chosen family. All of that is we have evolved to survive around. So definitely lean into that and make sure that it can be hard, especially being an adult, being a busy adult. If you work a lot, right, it can be hard, but make sure you have some intentional time in your schedule to get together with some friends, go on a hike, go get brunch, just talk on the phone, whatever it looks like. Definitely make sure that you are spending that time with other people, building those new relationships and maintaining the ones that you want to hold on to.
Boom, there it is. So you came up with that before?
No. You mean before what?
Before you knew the theme of the podcast?
No. That's completely tailored to this podcast.
I see. I was like, geez, that's really good, Sinclair. I see you.
Thanks.
Okay, but yeah, it worked out. Well done, Sinclair. So our small business sponsor for the week, speaking of events where you're meeting new friends, speaking of maybe new children being born and entering into your family. You want to cement those memories, those moments. And in order to do that, you can hire For Gifted Photography. You can go to their website, forgiftedphotography.com, and book yourself a photo session. They do weddings, quinceañeras, they do newborns, they do the pregnancy poses where, you know, you're like, oh, my baby's coming soon. Look at my belly. They do all those. You can get them done at forgiftedphotography.com, and they'll give you a discount if you use the code the M4 show. Don't sleep on it. The M4 show. Get yourself a discount. Now, Queen, I'm gonna throw up their mission statement thing, and I'm gonna have your amazing eyes read it because I don't got my glasses on.
Yes, dear. So For Gifted Photography is specializing in capturing your most precious moments to last for generations. I think that's very fitting for the fact that part of what we like to do here is create that generational wealth, right?
Facts.
And in order to capture those memories, you need to have those memories. You need to have them captured so that you can pass those memories down to future generations as well.
Facts. So go ahead, forgiftedphotography.com, and capture those memories. Special shout out, of course, to our photographer, our videographer, our cinematographer, our podcast engineer in the background, Jaid, who helps us capture all this stuff. Because this is like momentous stuff that our kids will be able to watch 10 years from now, 20 years from now. When we're 80 years old, we'll be able to watch these episodes back, watch when we went to Tulsa, watch when we went to Atlanta, like, look at us when we were young. So it's just, highly recommend getting these memories solidified in film and photography and videos, y'all. But Queen, are you ready to talk about networking? Ready to talk about making friends, sustaining friends, losing friends, all the above? Let's do it. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Come on back. Hey, come on back. Welcome back. Come on back. Hey. All right. So I have kind of two stories that I can choose from to dive into the importance of networking or dealing with friends while married. Mm-hmm. Story number one involves a student. Story number two involves my father. Which one you want to go with, Claire?
Let's bring Mr. Walker in.
All right. So y'all know I love my dad. No disrespect to the king. He is the chosen one. He is the one. But we were having a conversation. You were here. It was in this lovely house, and we were talking about like meeting people at the park when you have kids and like setting up play dates and whatnot. And the random scenario that came up, and y'all let me know what you think about this. I think I know the Queen stance because we talked about it. But you're at the park, right? Yeah, I'm a father with my beautiful babies. Right. Yeah. All right. I got my beautiful babies. We're at the park, and let's say there's a mom there also with her children, melanated, and we want to have our kids have a play date. All right. What is the rules around how I'm supposed to engage with that mother with children? In the conversation with my dad there, my grandma was there, aunties, little sisters. It was a nice multi-generational conversation. It was real good stuff. But most of the people in the wiser generation were like, you don't give your contact information to the mom. You give maybe your wife's number, or it's really like you don't get her number for sure. Right, no. Definitely don't do that, Devon. You give your wife's number to the other wife and have them figure out when they're going to connect. in my opinion, I thought that was a little old school. I thought that was a little cautious. I can see where they get it from though. So I wanted to kind of bring that type of conversation back to the podcast, ask you on air, 7 years in the future, we're in this scenario, right? I got little Kendra in my arms, little Dalton's running around. There's another mom there. She got kids running around. Oh my gosh, our kids are playing together. They're so cute. We should have a play date. What do I do?
I feel like we did talk about this, and I absolutely, let me start by saying I absolutely understand where this caution comes from. Because I understand there are probably several marriages and scenarios out there that have been ruined for moments just like that.
Just like that.
However, I can only act from what I know in our relationship and work on our relationship dynamic. I fully trust you. Okay. So in that situation, me as the introvert, you're best at those types of things. Now, those things,
our kids would not make any friends. There would be no play dates.
They really wouldn't. Go play with your sister. Get over there. So yeah, I just, in keeping with our strengths, like that can be your strength of, like, finding our kids friends.
Finding our kids friends. That's my responsibility. I'll take that.
But anyways, yeah, you are a more talkative person. You are more likely to go introduce yourself to somebody. That's partially why we have the successful business we have, right? Because your networking skills. So I personally would not have a problem with you exchanging information to set up a play date.
Now, question here.
Yeah.
Does it matter if she's single or married? Throw a wrench in there. Right. So there's a mom there. She can be a single mom. She could be a married mom. Is there any difference in the approach?
That's a good question. At first I was like,
I'm here for y'all. See, I'm here for y'all.
Here's the thing. That in itself doesn't necessarily make or break it. It's really about you having your best judgment and knowing their intent.
What's their vibe?
Because you're very, I feel like we have that kind of relationship where he'll be like, bruh, somebody try to holler at me today or whatever, right? He can tell me those things and I laugh about it. I mean, he's a beautiful chocolate man. It's not like it's not gonna happen.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Pouring into my cup.
Yeah, I'd be worried when people stop trying to holler at you. Then they'll be like, dang, what's
going on? What am I seeing?
Right. But anyway.
Jair, you see how loud she laughed at that? Oh no. But you said use my judgment.
Use your
judgment.
The vibe. Because yeah, you've told me about several times where, like, you started to have a conversation with a young lady and then you can tell like they have an ulterior motive, and then you quickly end the conversation or mention me or whatever you do to get out of it. Right. It's just my wife. Yes. I gotta go home to her, whatever. So
there was a situation where we were talking about some type of travel, and she was like, oh yeah, I love to travel. Where do you like to travel to? Or how do you travel? Do you use a booking agency? And I was like, well, usually my wife books everything. I really don't know sometimes what country we're in. This is all facts, but it was just a good little wife flex right there.
I respect that. Respect that. But yeah, I would say, like, use your best judgment there. If there doesn't feel like that, if it feels very genuine, like this is for the kids, then go for it. If you ever feel uncomfortable, like I'm not really sure, then yes, feel free to be like, oh, you know what, correspond with my wife or whatever.
Easy.
So yeah, I would just say use your best judgment. But for me, it is not a black and white, like you should never give your number out to, or get a contact for another female. Like I don't feel that way. Because yeah, you never know where you're going to network, when you're going to network with somebody that can have you can have what am I trying to say? Basically, like, network can come in different shapes and sizes. So you can meet someone that can also be a network for getting them on the podcast, or maybe they have a business with their spouse, right? So or
like when we met Brother Jose.
Right.
Yeah, dope dude who we still need to get on the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that can also be a place for adults to find friends too, when if our kids are vibing. So yeah, I'm like, if you vibe, if you find an energy, like you match well with the person's energy, then I thought that could be like, oh, well, what are y'all doing later on? Maybe we can hang out. So yeah, I personally wouldn't just say like, no, you can't communicate. That seems a little much.
There it is. All right. Well, let us know what y'all think. Feel free to put in the comments. Again, you're in a married relationship, you have kids, or maybe some other place where you're exchanging numbers, what are the rules on exchanging numbers with other people?
And then, of course, we already said too, like you would immediately communicate that to me.
Oh,
It,
hey, by the
of
way,
course,
old
looks
girl.
weird if you now you have a random person's phone number and I'm scrolling through and I'm like, who
Mhm.
is Sally? And why are you
So
trying
doubling
to?
back, every new female phone number that I get, I should tell you. Is that what you're saying?
I'm talking about in this situation because it's
Oh,
about the
okay.
kids. I
Cool.
mean,
I just wanted
that's
to
what, like,
make sure
that's where it
I was like, oh,
separates.
okay, we gotta. What happened was,
I
listen,
already know you meet a lot of people at work,
that
like
is a
you
fact.
network a lot of people. So that's why in this scenario, when it's about the kids, when it's something that like in that situation,
Mhm.
I would want to know, like, oh, I met somebody,
For the
that
kids.
just makes sense.
Yeah.
It would be weird to me if I didn't know about it.
Mhm.
That's what I would start.
And
My senses would start to go off, like, why didn't he tell me he met old girl at the park yesterday?
especially because you know the kids are gonna snitch on you.
That part.
You know the kids will come back. Oh, mom, daddy made a new friend at the park. Her name is.
Mhm.
Hold on now. I was about to tell you. Hold up.
New friend, huh?
Be active in your communication. We talked about that in 2 episodes ago when we talked about the top 5 reasons for divorce. Poor communication and poor conflict resolution. Don't let it get you. Be active in your communication, beautiful people. Yes, Queen.
So before we move off, does the same go for me? Does it any different for me?
No, same thing. Like check the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
If old boy is looking up and down, if he's doing like this with his hands, that's probably not a number that should be in your phone. If he's licking his lip,
Ew.
that's probably not a number that should be in your phone.
Ew.
Okay, those are the signs.
I wouldn't even go up to someone who's doing those things.
Good,
Ooh.
good. Cool. Glad we're on the same page. So shifting gears ever so slightly, still on new people, but I want to talk about story number 2 now.
Mhm.
Can I talk about story number 2?
Yes.
So I'm teaching these students, right? We're talking about financial literacy. We're talking about building wealth. Every student has to be in a group of 3, and it's a pretty, not pretty diverse. It's either brown students or black students in this class.
Mhm.
There's really nothing else. I'm trying to think. No, there are literally no white students. There's literally maybe one Asian student, Asian Filipino student, but it's mostly black and brown youth in this class. And I go up to this young man. It's session number 4 at this point, so they should be in groups, but this young man's been kind of in and out. And I go up to him like, "Hey, do you have a group? We gotta find a group for it." He's like, "Nah, I don't got a group." I was like, "All right, well, can we get you a group?" He's like, "Well, I mean, everyone that I know is already in groups." And I was like, "Okay, well, you gotta find a group of 3." He's like, "I really don't mess with people I don't know like that." I was like, "All right, but we're in school right
Right.
now, and I understand your mentality, young king, but we're in school, so can you find a group?" He's like, "Nah, I'm really not messing with nobody I know." I was like, "All right, what about this dude sitting right next to you? How do you know him?" He's like, "I know him for football." Okay, so at one point you didn't know him,
Mhm.
and now y'all are cool, right? He's like, "Yeah, but he's black." I was like, "Okay, your point is?" He's like, "I don't mess with no non-black people." And we had to have like a really serious conversation. This is a 11th grade kid,
Mhm.
right? I was like, "Sir, if you want to be wealthy in this world, if you want to get to the places that I know you want to go, you're not going to get there by just being around the people that you know, and you're probably not going to get there just being around black people. Like you need to expand your network. Like I'm here, you just met me, and I know I'm black, but I'm teaching you stuff that you didn't know because you're expanding your network." Long story short, he still didn't get with nobody, but
Mm-mm-mm.
he got with another young female who was also by herself. She had just came into the class, and at first he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna be with her either." And there was like that smiling tension between the two of them. I was like, "Y'all smiling at each other? Just will y'all be in the same group?" When I walked away, I came back. He was like, "Hey, we in the same group." I was like, "All right, you making progress." But I want to talk about the concept of sometimes when you're in a marriage, you have your own friends, you have obviously your partner in life. You can be like, well, I don't need to meet anyone else. Like I
Mhm.
got my tribe, I got the people I went to college with, I got my sorority sister, my fraternity brothers, I got my wife. I don't need any new friends.
No
How do
new
you
friends, no new friends, no new friends, no.
I don't need any no, I'm not gonna diss you on your vocals, Sinclair. I'm trying to get better at words of affirmations.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And I think with continual practice and development, your vocals will only get better from here.
It's a good thing I get to practice every week on the podcast.
That is a very, very good thing that you get to practice every single week on this live podcast called the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making show that everyone's going to subscribe to. And the more likes and subscriptions we get, the less likely she is to sing on the show. So make sure y'all go.
How did you make that correlation? Definitely the opposite.
Oh man, but I want to kind of talk about the concept of once you're married, do you think you need or should continue to grow your network outside of your marriage, outside of your core group of friends?
Absolutely. You really have to.
Okay. Have to.
You
Why
have to.
Okay.
Because there are going to be times when you and your spouse are not on the same page. And where do you go in those moments?
Need a break.
It is, I'm not a person who like has a lot of friends, and I have found myself in those moments where it's like,
where I'm on your nerves and you got nowhere to go.
Yes, I'm sorry, but let's just be real. I've had those moments where it's like, okay, well, Devon's getting on my nerves, and I can't go to Devon to complain about Devon.
You could. It'd be awkward though.
I wasn't at a place where it was like, I was like, I don't even know who to call at this point. Like, and it's like I have friends, but I don't know. In that space where I was at, I was like, I don't necessarily feel comfortable calling anybody on my phone and being like, "Girl, look what this man did." And so it was in a hard moment because I think it was hard because it was just like I have these feelings I need to vent, and they're like, who do I go to? And it can feel lonely. Even in a marriage where you're literally sharing your life with someone, it can feel lonely if you don't have other people. And I think it's also like other just other thought processes, right? We think relatively similar on some things. Right. But especially because we talk about things all the time. So I feel like we can sometimes come to like a like this a similar perspective. And so it is helpful to have different perspectives around you as well. And so I think for even just that simple thing, it's important to have other folks around you. But for those moments where you and your spouse are not seeing eye to eye, it's very important to have other folks around you that you can go and feel supported and vent and just have a different perspective again. It's important.
Agreed. And I see some comments coming in. If you don't mind, Sinclair, doing the honors of reading some of these if appropriate. I know y'all be wilding on these comments sometimes.
Like someone just said, doesn't mean he won't come up to you, look at his lips. I don't know.
That must be bottle.
Look. And then someone said, come through with the words of affirmation.
You got to do it. I was watching this new thing on Netflix. It's probably not new. It's called 100 Humans. And they did an experiment where they gave positive affirmations to people, and then they just criticized people, and they saw and measured people's improvement afterwards. So like they did some like plate spinning, and no matter how bad they were, oh, good job, that was really good, I loved how you smiled, I love how you gave it energy, whoop de whoop de whoop. And then they gave the other people, no matter how good they were, and there were people that were really good at plate spinning, like goodness gracious, how did you learn that so fast? Like that was terrible, you need to work on your facial gestures better. Compared the two, they came back, the people who they gave positive reinforcement to, who were terrible, were really good. The people who they gave criticism to, who were good before, all of a sudden were bad. So hey, watch next episode, Sinclair gonna be sounding like Beyonce. Let's go.
Period.
Let's go.
And then said, please expand because you don't know what you don't know. And I'm not sure at what exactly that is referring to. So if someone would like us to expand on a certain point, you can clarify there where you want us to go there. But not only to vent, but also to be exposed to different ways to do life. Absolutely. Different thought patterns, different just backgrounds. Everybody treats situations differently. It's important to put yourself in those situations to be able to talk to people who have a different approach than you. Because if it may not change exactly what you're going to do, but now you feel really solid in what you know and how you go through life. But sometimes those different perspectives can help you move past these little barriers that you get. Like, oh, you know what? They said I should do this, and that's not something I would normally do, but I'm going to try that in this situation, and it may or may not work out. But
so for me, the making new friends. And sorry, did you want to continue on your not the comments, but on your perspective of new friends outside of the marriage? No. So for me, the friends, whether it's new friends or just communicating with friends, period, I think inside of our marriage, you do a really good job at having me focus on health,
Mhm.
having me focus on work-life balance, which, is good. I need it. I'm a workaholic and I'm very driven, right? But I think being with a Markel, or I went on a hike with James the other day, which we'll talk about in a second, being with those other people who are also like driven as men, I feel like helps me get that motivation to, all right, let's get some work in, right? And I'm already pretty driven solo, but on the Sunday calls with the Kings Accountability Group, shout out to Coach T, shout out to Ernie, like it gives me a different type of energy and gas that I don't get within the marriage, just because I feel like female energy and masculine energy, they're different.
Mhm.
And I think as as a black man, I need to be around other black men to get that energy, to have a workout in, to get the friendly competition in. So I think help me become a better man.
Yeah, I think that goes both ways too. Like you said,
Mhm.
like I'm with you most of the times. I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, go Sinclair, go Sinclair, go Sinclair. Like that can be kind of the dynamic that we start to form. Because
Mhm.
again, I'm the more like balanced. You're more just go go go. But it's important for me to get around other, and not that I don't have driven friends. But like this weekend was nice because like we were chilling.
Mhm.
Right, and then no offense, but it wasn't like waking
Here
up.
it comes.
It wasn't like I'm waking up and to anyways, he's a
Huh.
workaholic.
What do you wake up to, Sinclair? Huh. Let's
You
talk about it. We
you're
here.
woken up an hour before I actually want to wake up because his alarm's going off. But yeah, it's just like I don't it long story short, it was nice to just be around other women who just have a different type of energy. They have it's more like when you perfect example. If I would have vent to like this group of women that I just left, like there's I feel like it's typically more almost like cheerleading, right? They're like,
Mm.
what he did, what girl? Oh, what? I can't believe that. And then did you, and like it's that kind of energy where it's like you feel kind of hyped up, like
Ooh.
yeah. And
Ooh.
then da-da-da-da, and then
Ooh.
I said, and then could you believe, right? That's what it would be like.
Mhm.
Whereas I can't do that with Devon because I will get one sentence in before he starts trying to solve the problem.
This is
And
true.
that is a little bit of a buzzkill when it comes to venting. So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, I'm not there yet. Okay.
I'm not looking
I
for
am right. I'm
solutions.
not looking for solutions right now. That bothers him. I'm just like, I literally just want to release the emotion. And I feel like women understand the importance of, at least the women in my life understand the importance of just releasing those emotions and like venting it out, and that being a part of solving the problem. That is a part of healing, right? That is a part of the process that is important. Um, but I feel like sometimes with you, unless I explicitly am like, I'm just venting, or you'll
Mhm.
ask sometimes, like, do you want me to listen to solve your problem or to offer advice, or am I
Mhm.
just
That
listening?
was a major unlock for me, fellas. I
Yeah.
learned that probably this year. Like either this year or last year. Like, okay, hold on, real quick. Do you want a solution, or do you want
Right.
me just to listen and be like, I just want you to listen right now. Bet I can do that. Turn
Right.
off solutions.
Right. Because their natural state is like, okay,
Yes.
well, why don't you do this instead? And I'm like, that may work tomorrow when I'm not actively, going through the emotions. But right now, I just want to get it off my chest.
No, that's good. That's good. So while we're talking about, and I see more comments coming in, so let's go ahead and go to a few of these comments, and then Queen, I want you to, what you can reflect on your beautiful experience in Paso Robles and how beautiful the Airbnb was, and a little bit of stuff that y'all did, the black-owned wine that you got. We're gonna go into that right after this. Is that good?
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. Let's go to the comment first.
To just clarification that they were talking about expanding your friend group.
Mm.
Absolutely, right? Expand, it's important. Um, and yes, it is Bottle. Shout out to Bottle.
Shout out. Hopefully you're driving. Oh, hopefully you're not driving because you're doing all this typing again. Last time you may or may not have been on the road while you were doing all this typing. I ain't gonna snitch on you though.
No, he literally just did. They just said it's funny because the only thing men look for are solutions. Like even before the problem was has finished probleming.
It's a
That's
fact.
facts. That's facts. And it's like let the problem lay out, right? Get a full picture of the problem before you try to solve it. But no, he's like already. I'm 3 words in, and he's like, okay, how can I solve this problem? Which is
Yeah.
helpful, but not always.
I think that's what I look for. I don't know how often I vent for just venting sake. No disrespect to anybody that does that. Are beautiful, amazing spirits, and I am here for your emotional needs, Sinclair.
Thank you.
But I feel like, yeah, usually if I'm venting about something, I am looking for that solution. So I try to be the same. And again, trying to get out of that, working actively on it. Like, no, all right, you want me to listen? You want me to have a solution? And I got what you need, Queen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Evolving. I love it.
Constantly. But talk to me about Paso Robles. Tell people where it is in case they're listening from outside of California, because we do have some people listening from Australia. We got people listening from China. We got people listening from New York. So let folks know where Paso Robles is, and just the type of fun you had.
Yeah, so Paso Robles is in the central California. So for our group, we have some folks in Southern California, some folks in Northern California. So if you're like that and you're trying to find like a central place to meet, Paso Robles is a great option. It's about 4 to 4.5 hours from either side, NorCal or SoCal. It's wine country, so lots of beautiful vineyards that you're driving through. And yeah, it's just a really cool vibe. They have a nice little downtown that kind of reminds me of like a downtown Davis. As we were walking around, it's like, oh, it kind of gives like a downtown Davis type of feel. Kind of more of a small town. It seems like everybody kind of knows each other type of thing. But we stayed at a really nice Airbnb. It was something ranch, but it was basically a whole property. I didn't even realize it was as big as it was, but it was an actual ranch where they did have some type of fruit trees or something growing. I didn't verify what it was, but it was just a beautiful property. We had a group of 9. We had so much space. I ended up having a whole king bed to myself. I don't know how I finished that, but I did, and it was amazing.
The things y'all gotta learn about Sinclair is whenever we travel, she gets the best of the accommodations. Jair can attest to it. We'll get hotel rooms, and she will look at every hotel room and be like, hold on. I need to see what the view's like, what the bed's looking like, and I'm gonna get the best room. Now, usually it benefits me because I'm rolling with her, but it's still, when we're on the plane, it's like, no. I need the window seat because I'm Sinclair and I am making travel happen.
Because it's not like I'm a travel agent. I don't actually get paid to make any of these arrangements. So that is
That's
how
your
I pay
payment?
myself. Is okay, well then I'm gonna get the window seat or I'm gonna get the best room, whatever it is. So yeah, same thing right here. This was a lot of coordinating that happened. I didn't charge anybody for that part of it, but yes, I did show up first.
She showed up to this haunted house in the dark.
Oh my gosh,
babe.
Yeah, let me talk about that for a second. So this place was, mind you, it's daylight saving, so it gets dark at 5 o'clock, and it was already like 4 o'clock. It was already like the sun was going down in the mountains. I was like, oh dang, here we go. So yeah, I showed up, and it was like a gate that I had to open. It felt really like haunted housey. And then yeah, drive up this really long, narrow road, not unpaved road, to get to this house where all the lights were off, and I'm there by myself. So I'm like, got my high beams on and a flashlight, and I'm trying to walk around the property, find the front door, and it wasn't even the front door; it was the side door we had to go into. It was a whole thing. But no, like as I was first walking around the house, and you were on a meeting, otherwise I normally probably would have had you on the phone and like been like, okay, babe, this is what's happening, But yeah, he was on a call, so it was just me. Yeah, every single light I could find, I turned on. I turned on the TV. I was going around the corners, like doing karate, like making sure nobody was there. I'm sure I looked crazy, but long story short, it was a beautiful property, beautiful views. They had so many different like balconies where you could just go and see like all of wine country. And yeah, I sat out there and meditated on Saturday morning. It was really wonderful.
Nice.
Really
and
quiet.
You went to, I know you went wine tasting, but you also brought back some black owned wine. Let's talk about the black owned wine, unless the wine tasting was also black owned.
I mean, I'm confused.
Was it wine tasting at the same spot?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we went wine tasting 3 different spots. The last spot was black owned.
Well, excuse me. My bad. Let's talk about the last spot for me.
Yes. Indigene. Shout out to Raymond and Indigene. So I think their actual like operations is in Carmel, It was I think it may be further north of where we were at, but they have a tasting room in downtown Paso Robles. Really cool vibe. It's kind of like a converted like car garage type of thing, but really really nice. The wine was delicious. We had at first it was just like Ian, shout out to Ian as well, who was helping pour us all of our wine glasses at first. And then at some point he was like, I think Raymond's gonna come by. So we were like, oh cool, we're gonna get to meet the owner. And then
oh, here it goes.
Raymond came, and that's when the night went left.
Left
in the best way possible. That's when we all got really drunk.
Because Raymond.
Right, he came. He's the owner, so he basically was like, okay. It was like 6:30. He was like, when's your dinner reservations? We were like 8, and he was like, bet. He said, turn the lights down, Ian. So they had a little dimmer down, so they turned the dimmer down. They like changed the playlist, and they were just pulling up for us like the rest of the night. It was really really nice. So we got way more than we bargained for because it was really really nice, and they were just great people, good warm hospitality. And
did you get Raymond's contact?
Of course,
business card, cool.
Oh, okay. Not business card, but I have his number and his email.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Come on the show, Raymond.
Yeah.
Come through, Raymond.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was really good. So we got to sit there and just chop it up with him. I asked him about like, what was it like being like a Black-owned winery? He said he's one of 300 in the Paso Robles area.
One of 300 what?
Sorry. There are 300 vineyards, and he is the only Black-owned.
Okay,
that's what I meant to say.
Paso Robles is a hidden gem of Black winery.
No. Sorry.
What is happening?
Opposite. No, okay. There's like 300 wineries, and he is the only. So I was just asking. Right. We had to have some good conversation about that, and yeah, it was just a really good time. But yeah, it was as soon as he showed up is when we started having a real good time. It was fun.
You said left as if it was wrong. Like, that's when things went right.
You're right. Things went right. Shout out to Raymond.
Shout out. So that's good. I feel like I wanted to talk about sustaining friendships, and this is one way that you've chosen to sustain friendships, right? Like these, I don't know how often you plan to do these, but these retreats where you get your girls together, y'all go somewhere and just have fun.
Yeah. And I think it was a really good, this is a retreat of people who haven't seen each other in years sometimes. There were people meeting each other for the first time. Like it was a big, a big group, a lot of different dynamics, but we found a mutual place to stay at. We found an activity that we all liked to do, so wine tasting. And then I think one kind of cool thing about wine tasting is it does like get kind of the guards down, right? As the alcohol starts to kick in. I think that helps because it actually really helped because it gave folks a chance to really connect and really just talk and not have any of the preconceived notions about that there might be around, seeing someone you haven't seen in a long time, or again, meeting someone for the first time. There wasn't any of that. It was just a good time. Nice. And so at the end of it, we were like, can we do this like every year? And everybody was like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm really excited to hopefully have that continue to be a tradition.
Love it. So if y'all watching, major nugget, watching, listening is, once a year, get together. It's like you have family reunions, have a friend reunion. All right, everyone gets together somewhere mutual, either with the partners or without the partners in this case, and have a great time and come back to your king recharged, rejuvenated with a cooked meal ready for you.
Let me tell you, that's a win. Got that text on the way back. I'll have dinner for you after the podcast. I was like, I forgot about that.
Come on, Bottle. You feel me, Bottle? So I got a spoiler a little bit, just a little bit. So I want to shift it a little bit away from sustaining friends and to ways that you can make new friends.
Pass that over to you.
That's on me. So we had the opportunity of going out to a few different conventions, and I think the way that we've made new friends is really within our like networking bag and finding other people who are passionate about building wealth, specifically within the Black community, or people who are interested in health, people who are interested in real estate. That's usually the friend group that we start to build off of. So we met some folks. We went out to Atlanta. Well, first we met this person in Black Wall Street. All right. So we went to Black Wall Street 2 years ago, met Ben, met some other folks, and we were like, all right, y'all are cool. Let's exchange contact information. He then reached back out to us. He was like, hey, I'm doing this Bank on It series podcast about the importance of financial literacy and wealth in the Black community, and I need y'all there. Bet. It's Atlanta. Bet. We coming through. So we flew out to Atlanta. What?
I just thought of the Kevin Hart.
No, bet. Oh, shout out to Kevin Hart. Hey, Kevin Hart, what's up? Come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Come on the podcast, man. If y'all know Kevin Hart, go ahead and shoot that shot for us, please. But long story short, we went out to Atlanta, did the Bank Audit series, and outside of the podcast, had some food, went over his house. He had Southern hospitality, cooked for us, right? Good vibe. And then from there, we were like, you know what? We want to give y'all that same hospitality. All right. So how about in December, January, everyone in Atlanta, y'all are all invited. Come out to Cali, kick it with us, and let's have a good time. We're going to talk about wealth. We're going to talk about business. We're also going to give you some Northern California hospitality because we'll be in NorCal.
We were going to give him Southern California hospitality. We'll just be located in NorCal
when we give it to him.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. We're going to give him that hospitality, show him how Cali do. And that's kind of our way of making new friends, right? Again, started off as come out to Atlanta for the podcast. Let's exchange value. Come on my platform. We did a Dream Catchers episode with him. I'm struggling with that word. Dream Catchers episode with him. So just exchanging value, and that exchange of value is forming into a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
All right. So second nugget for y'all, if y'all trying to get new friends, is just literally go places. Be out in the streets. You got to meet people, not those streets, Sinclair. Not those streets, but you got to get out. You got to get out of the house and meet people at events. Go to conferences that bring people together that care about what you care about. Right. Go to the park. Go to the gym. Just gotta kind of get out a little bit and not be afraid to meet the people.
Yeah. I think that it is nice, especially when you meet somebody in that type of space, because you likely already going to have something in common, right? So like we have financial literacy, like Black businesses, supporting Black businesses. We have that in common with Ben, right? Because that's kind of how we met in that type of space. So I think it is cool to meet somebody in those spaces, because again, as me is more introverted, I tend to have a lot of anxiety around starting a conversation with someone new. So if I know I can already just ask you something about, Black Wall Street, or, ask you whatever, something health related, if I meet somebody at like a health conference, right? I think having something to at least break the ice in the conversation and have a baseline of an interest with that person, I think can be really helpful.
Yeah. I'll say. Queen, pull up the outline for me. And I need you to check out what question I asked for the Ask Declare.
This is awkward because there is no question typed here.
You're positive. Let me see this. What advice do you have for couples? Is this the right episode? It is. Interesting. I swore I put a Ask Declare.
You all saw that. He just didn't trust me there. He just said double check.
Yeah, I was like, hold up now. Maybe I just put it under the wrong bullet point. But an Ask Declare off the cuff. Let's talk about it. Do you think it's more important to sustain old friendships or to build new friendships? Ooh, that boy good. Oh, that boy good.
And you're not going to like how I answer this, but I don't think it has anything to do with old versus new. I think it is important to have relationships that give value. So however, that whether that's an old relationship or a new relationship, I just think it's important to evaluate your relationships and make sure that they're still serving you. If they get into a point where a relationship is no longer serving you, and not just that, and not necessarily in a like you're getting something from that person, but serving you emotionally, serving you, filling your cup, if you will. Like if you feel like you're so drained, from a certain relationship, then that may be one you should let go of. I don't know that it matters whether it's a new or old friendship. But I think it's important to always evaluate. But I do think that it is important to. Okay, so I'm gonna answer it here. I think the new friends is slightly more important, only because I think with different seasons of your life, there may come points where old relationships again no longer fit with your lifestyle or no longer fit with your mindset. or just maybe you're trying to leave some habits or lifestyles behind, and that may include some people as well. Um, so I think that it is important with each season of life that you are also able to expand your network with where you're at right now, because otherwise I think it's going to be hard to evolve if you always have the same circle, unless everybody's evolving together, which is amazing, but I don't think that's the reality in most friendship circles, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm the optimist.
Mhm.
I am Mr. Romantic, and I think I'm leaning towards sustaining old friendships and, as best as you can, being able to evolve with those friends.
Mm.
The reason why is because, kind of like the marriage, right? I think we have a stronger marriage and a stronger friendship because we have literally 11 years building on,
Mhm.
right? And I think when you get to a certain level, with your business, with your friends, it's helpful for that friend to have known you for 10, 20, 15 years, so they can tell you when you're tripping. Like,
Mm.
Sinclair, nah, you're not. You've lost your ways. Because I
Mm.
remember Sinclair back in
You acting
2000.
brand new.
Right, you acting brand new now, and I think sometimes making new friends, while that it can bring an outside perspective, it can bring in additional value. They don't have the context that your old friends have,
That's true.
and they might not know if you're acting brand new or not because you are brand new to them.
Mhm.
So whatever first impression you gave to them, that's who they think you are.
Right.
But that could have been a facade. You could have been uncomfortable that day. You could have been depressed that day, but they're meeting you there. So they think this is your baseline. They don't know to check in. Oh, are you feeling okay?
Right.
Because the first time they met you, you were here.
They just assume that's how you are.
Exactly. Um, so yeah, speaking of which, I talked to a friend today and I can just tell that that person was down.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's just like, I'm a very empathetic person. So it's like when you're down, it's like, dang. And I feel like there's nothing to do for this person either. So it's like, oh, I feel you. But
Mhm.
again, that was the first time I'd ever engaged that person. Who's been like, oh, they're just a chill, laid back individual. Right.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm leaning towards sustaining old friends, or sustaining, I'm trying to come up with a different word than old.
Mhm.
Sustaining lasting relationships, sustaining cemented friends, sustaining friends with
Like
equity.
I guess you're talking about like your core,
Yeah, your
like your core
squad.
group. Yeah, I think
Your
it's.
squad. Because like it's gonna be so different with our kids playing with Markel's kids, Ryan kids, Javon's
Mhm.
kids, Odin's kids. Like our kids playing with the kids, the people that we grew up with. Like that's one of the visions, one of the dreams I look forward to.
Mhm.
Making new friends at the park and all that stuff, that's cool. But like really having our kids rock with the people that we rock with the people that we had shenanigans with, like that's just a different type of vibe to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No
That's why
disrespect to the
it.
old friends. Yeah, still, I mean, the new friends still
Right.
want new friends, but if I had to put a weight on it, I think I would slightly put the sustaining. You about to say? I made you lose it?
Yeah, it's
My bad.
all good.
Is it gonna come back?
Who knows?
Oh goodness. You sure?
Yeah.
All right. So I see there's still some comments in here. If there's any new ones, feel free to put them up. If not, I want to talk a little bit about the $1 million marriage challenge. Can we talk about that
Let's
very
do it.
slightly? All right. So literally, if you're watching this live, the $1 million marriage challenge.com, go there, $1 million marriage challenge.com, sign up. The challenge is this Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It is this Wednesday, y'all. All right. We're going to talk about tax strategies for married couples. We're going to talk about communication within your marriage. We're going to talk about personality assessments. How can you really sit in who you are naturally, but also be able to communicate, engage, love, elevate, develop who your other partner is naturally as well. We're going to be talking about developing family mantras and principles and values within your marriage. Listen, this is literally $1 million worth of game pouring into your marriage. Go to $1 million marriage challenge, everything spelled normal, $1 million marriage challenge.com, and join the wait list and sign up, y'all.
You don't join the wait list, sign up.
Well, the way that the link is on the website right now, it's the waitlist link. So you join the waitlist, you'll automatically get an email that then gives you the link to register. Talk to the person who made the website. Oh wait.
I am.
Okay, I'll change that, Queen.
Thanks.
Ding. But yeah, go ahead and sign up. It's gonna be a fun one. And this is the type of events that we want to do more often, not only to grow our network and introduce ourselves to new people and be able to, again, make friends outside of the marriage who are in line with our values. Right. If you're going to these events, you're a married couple who one is about making a bag, who two is about staying together for a long, lasting, beautiful, loving marriage, and three, you're a couple who wants to learn and continue to develop. And that's who we are.
Yes, it is.
That's who we are. So we hope to see you there. We hope to be friends with y'all, and then we hope to grow together. Okay, Queen. Any announcements on your side, my love?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing.
Unless I'm forgetting something I should be announcing.
You know, we always announce Play Black Wall Street on this workshop or on this. What's this called? This is a podcast, right?
This is a podcast.
That's what they call
Actually, yeah. And speaking of, I'm gonna give us a shout out there. Play Black Wall Street. So we are very, very closely nearing the end of the year here, which means Black History Month is just around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So one, for the holidays here, you need to go ahead and grab your game like now.
That's a fact.
It's going to make a great gift for just about anybody that loves to play games, right? Any families you know who like to play games, definitely go ahead and grab them a game. Amazing holiday gift. But also, if you or you know somebody who has a group of students or a group of teachers, any type of group who you think would benefit from a Black History speaker for Black History Month, this guy right here,
I got you.
Devon Truvel is A1. He is one of the best speakers that I personally have ever graced my eyes and ears with. So definitely go to Play Black Wall Street.
100% unbiased.
100%. 100%. Go to Play Black Wall Street and remind me where they go for the is there like a partnerships link?
There is. So there's multiple places to go. You can go ahead and go to the Contact Us tab, and then right there it'll ask you if you're looking for a speaker. Click on this link, and then you'll fill out that form, give us your information, and we will get in contact with you. Again, February is a beautiful time, but it is one of the busiest times for amazing Black focused speakers. So definitely make sure y'all reach out ahead of time so we can get you on the calendar and we can make it work. Virtual, in person, anything like that, we are ready to engage with your scholars and empower your scholars. PlayBlackWallStreet.com, get you a game, get you a solidified speaker. Boom.
Let's get it.
Let's get the vocals. See, and the vocals came back and they were a little bit better. Y'all heard that? Ooh.
Let's get it.
Okay, don't get carried. I mean, yes, Sinclair. Well done. Listen, I'm trying, bottle. I'm trying. All right, Quinn. You got anything else before we dive into these Chipotle Southwest catfish tacos, these garlic spicy shrimp tacos with garlic candied yams, brisket greens, and refried beans?
Y'all hear this?
Hey, y'all better get you one of those.
Now,
y'all better get you one.
A little context. He asked me what I wanted for dinner, and I said, I'm indecisive. So I said, I'm kind of feeling some Mexican food or Southern food. And he was like, okay, well, cool. I'll figure it out. And here he's decided to do both. Fusion.
Of course.
I love it.
I'm not going to give my queen less than what she wants. You wanted Mexican food. You wanted tacos specifically. You wanted Southern food or soul food. Why not give you everything that you desire? Well, this show is over, Jair. Let's wrap this up. Okay. Appreciate y'all for tuning into the M4 show. My name is Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka the health nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Peace. We're out of here. God. This is amazing bloopers. We're out. Jair, take us out. This is funny. Bottle, you're seeing all the good stuff right here. But we appreciate y'all. We are being able to see like all the analytics We see the love. We have switched over from Anchor. If you're a podcaster, Anchor is the free platform. Go to brand, Sinclair. Anchor is the free platform that we've been using. It's been pretty good for the past 2 years, but always elevating, always developing, always getting better. So we switched over to Buzzsprout, which is allowing us to see a lot of really good stuff. All right, but we are going to get out of here. Sinclair is going to click the outro button.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them. All of them. Wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.